Hello everyone, welcome to our paper Web Technology. Hope you are all staying safe at home and doing good. And in the previous class we have discussed about the internet. The key takeaway points from the topic is the origin of internet. It comes from ARPANET. Then we have discussed a few regional nets like SuraNet, CSNet, NSFNet. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. We are going to discuss two topics today, that is basic internet protocols and World Wide Web. Shortly it is named as WWW. And in the previous class itself we have seen the definition for internet. It's nothing but collection of computers that connects together globally, and internet connection of networks with different network accessing mechanisms, the network might be a MAN, LAN, WAN, anything else, and how the two things gets interconnected via how the machine how we are identifying the machine. For that we will be using addressing mechanisms and how the transfer takes place. So there is nothing but routing techniques. All those things play a key background for connecting a computer to the internet for mainly accessing the global information. Okay, so when we travel a road we need to follow certain rules. We both can ride each other with a joy in an opposite direction without any clashes. So for that we need to follow some set of rules. Similarly, in a computer network, and mainly computer network is used to interconnect computers. So why do we need to interconnect computers? To share information between the two computers, is it not? So to share without any clashes we need to follow certain rules and regulations in the computer network. So for that the rules and regulations are defined by means of the term called as protocol. Okay, so it might be new for you to hear this term protocol. So it's nothing but set of rules and regulations for the computer system to communicate without any clashes. Okay, so and of course the internet protocols was developed by ARPANET research project. Okay, so we have seen ARPANET Advanced Research Project Agency Network. It's a research project for US Department of Defense. Okay, so ARPANET was the first to develop the internet protocols like file transfer protocol, simple mail transfer protocols. That we will be going to see what those protocols are. Simply just you get to know that protocol is nothing but set of rules and regulations the computer system needs to follow to share while sharing information. Okay, so then only there will be no clashes between the computer system while sharing the information. Okay, apart from that, the main function of protocol is not only setting the rules and regulations, it also identifies if something happens in the background while transferring the data, if some packet gets lost, packet in the sense the data. Okay, so we'll come to the term packet later part. So the main function of protocol is used to identify the errors in the sense while transferring data. If something goes wrong, it's up to the protocol to identify that it is up to the protocol to notify that something went wrong to the user side, and deciding how to send. There may be n number of paths to reach a single destination. So it's up to the protocol to decide which path to take the data. Okay, then addressing the data. So addressing in the sense for whom the protocol has to carry out the data. Okay, so addressing in the sense each and every machine in the internet has been assigned an number. So that's nothing but an IP address, we shortly say internet protocol address. So each machine has an address. So while transferring the data, as like in our postal system, when we send a letter to when we send a letter to your friend, you need a friend address, then only you can the letter will be delivered properly. Similarly, to transfer a data or to share an information from the global computer system which gets interconnected, so we need to identify that system by means of addressing. Okay, then while transferring the data, so it's up to the protocol to compress the data and send it. If we are transferring bulk amount of information, means that gets compressed. The compression and decompression job is done by the protocol. Okay, so apart from setting rules and regulations, so these are the main functions of the protocols. Okay, identifying the errors, designing which paths to take place, compressing the data and addressing the data. And today the basic and the key protocols which we are going to discuss are TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol. IP means Internet Protocol. UDP/IP, User Datagram Protocol. IP means Internet Protocol. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. SMTP. So there it's spelled wrongly. You please correct it. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. FTP, File Transfer Protocol, and Telnet. So we are going to briefly discuss about these key protocols. Okay, so I said earlier, protocol is nothing but defining set of rules and regulations so that computers can connect without any issues, and it could transfer the data. So IP. So IP is the definition for the internet. Okay, so its IP is the key component for the definition of internet. Okay, so internet protocol, it is a communication protocol. Communication means for the data transfer to take place, we need certain protocols. So the main protocol is IP. Okay, internet protocol. So it is the one and only responsible for end-to-end communication. End-to-end means from one computer to another, source to destination. Okay, so IP means an internet protocol which is responsible for end-to-end transmission, and it sends the data in terms of packets. As I said earlier, packets are nothing but when the for example, if a computer A wants to send some information to B, and if the computer A sends a huge amount of data, that information is divided into smaller groups of data called as packets. Okay, so packet is nothing but smaller chunks of data. Okay, so each packet will have header information. Okay, so header in the sense from whom the packet needs to be delivered, and from what is the origin of the packet, so and the length of the packet, a number of things are there behind the packet. Okay, so packet is simply the information is divided into smaller groups of data. Okay, so that is said to be the packet. That job is done by the internet protocol apart from end-to-end transmission. And the key element of internet protocol is IP address. As I said earlier, IP address is internet protocol address. It means an identification for each and every computer which gets connected globally. Okay, so when we connect a computer to the internet, so ISP will provide an IP address. Okay, so IP address is a 32-bit number, bit in the sense zeros and ones. Okay, so IPv4 we usually say, so which is a 32-bit number. So each device on the internet may have one or more IP address. Okay, so the IP address is dynamic. Okay, and of course a static IP address is also there. When we connect our computer to the internet, dynamic dynamic address will be assigned for us. Okay, so for our understanding purpose, that 32-bit number is represented in terms of decimal numbers. Okay, four dotted decimal numbers. Okay, as in this example, it is given that 192.0.34.116. Each decimal number is an 8-bit number. Okay, and and each decimal number, as I said, it's an 8-bit number, and we will be saying this as an octet. Okay, since it's an 8-bit number, we will be saying this as an octet. OCT 80. So 4 octet numbers are there for an IP address. Okay, the function of IP address is used to as I said, it is an end-to-end transmission. It means to transfer data from one computer to the other computer. Okay, so this is IP. So IP means end-to-end transmission from one computer to the other computer. It's a transmission protocol. Okay. For here the picture says when we want to send a data from source computer is present in one network. This is one network, and this is another network, and this is the third network. If a computer in the network 1 wants to send some information to the network 3, so how it gets transmitter means the IP will straight away send to the next nearest network. Okay, so one network and the other network gets interconnected by a device called as a gateway. Okay, so gateway is a device to interconnect between the two different networks. Okay, by means of gateway the source information will be sent to the destination. Okay, and some of the limitations of IP addresses are unreliable. It means unreliable means packets can be lost. Okay, so while transmission due to some network disconnectivity, there may be a loss of packet and that cannot be recovered, and it is an one-way communication. Okay, so this is about IP. And to overcome these limitations, we have one more protocol called as Transmission Control Protocol, TCP. Okay, so TCP is built on top of IP. Okay, so IP is the base for transmission, and since we have seen some limitations in IP, which is an unreliable, it means data might be lost which cannot be recovered, and it's an one-way communication. So to overcome this, there is an protocol TCP which is built on top of the IP, and we are saying that as TCP IP. So two protocols that makes a reliable communication, TCP and IP. IP alone can't do any reliable communication. So on top of IP we have the TCP for reliable communications. So it seems to be a single protocol, TCP IP, but it is not so. So TCP is one protocol and IP is one protocol. So TCP, what's the job of TCP? So before sending the data, so from the diagram we could get the functionality of TCP. So it will establish a communication before sending any data. Okay. So how the connection gets established means, so first the source will send a request to the destination and the destination will respond. So after getting response from the destination, the source will acknowledge, okay, let me transfer the data. So the communication takes place. Okay, so when here is a source sending the packet with acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means it gets from the destination an acknowledgement, yes, it got it, it receives the information. So that's the acknowledgement for the source from destination. So there will be a timer running on each side, and if the source doesn't get an acknowledgement in a stipulated time, then it might thought that there might be some issues while transferring the packet, that packet might be lost, something like that. So after when the after the stipulated time gets over, the source will again send the same data and destination will acknowledge the data. So reliable communication gets established by means of TCP. Okay, and it's a two-way communication. So that's what TCP will be saying as a full duplex communication protocol. So not an one-way communication. Both source and destination will transfer the data. So that's what we are saying TCP as an two-way communication protocol. And one more main feature in TCP is a port number. So port number which allows the TCP to communicate different applications. So TCP IP is the application it is an end-to-end communication protocol. So what do we what to do with this? Once the communication gets established, what do we, the user will do? We usually browse some information from the web, or send an email, fetch some information from the remote database, downloading the files, etc. So these are different applications. Each and application will be identified by an unique number called as a port number. Okay, so this is the main feature in TCP. So port number that allows TCP to communicate different applications using different port numbers. Okay, port number for what's that, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. So SMTP has a port number 25, FTP has a port number 21, and I think we will be discussing it in the forthcoming slides. Okay, so port number is nothing but it enables the user to access the internet with different applications. Okay, here is the simplified view of communication taking place between TCP/IP protocol is given in a pictorial representation. Okay, host A and B. Host B is a client machine. Host A is the mail server. Okay, so here the communication definitely will be by means of SMTP. So the two computer gets communicated for accessing the mail service. So for mail service, the port number is 25. Okay, so the mail server, host A is a server. So what it has the TCP software. It will tell this TCP software to listen for any request coming via port number 25. Okay, so IP is built on top, TCP is built on top of IP. Okay, mail server will send a message to the TCP, which in turn will send the same to the IP. Okay, here it keeps on listening for any request coming to this server via port number 25 alone. Okay, if some other port number query gets initiated, so this machine won't respond. So this will respond for only port number 25 for mail service. And host B is a client. Okay, the client will means for accessing the information. So the client machine is used. Okay, so only the server will provide the service. Okay, client is merely a request. Okay, getting a request from the server. Okay, so the mail client will send the request via TCP/IP through the port number 25, and once in the network, if the server identifies there is a request coming for this port number 25, then it will acknowledge that request, and it will service to the client. Okay, so this is how a simple TCP communication takes place for servicing the mail. Okay, and one more important protocol is UDP. So UDP IP we could say. So TCP IP and UDP IP. So UDP is an alternate for TCP. So UDP is user datagram protocol. Okay, so it is a connectionless protocol UDP, whereas TCP is a connection oriented protocol. So connection oriented means that's a reliable communication. A connection will be established before sending the data, whereas in UDP connection won't be established. So it merely sends a message to the recipient. That's it. It doesn't bother whether they have received, acknowledged, nothing. So for short messages, instead of waiting for connection establishment, just simply sending a message, a short message alone is enough. Okay, no need to have a connection establishment for sending a simple message to the destination. Okay, so UDP, which is built on top of IP. Okay, so it is a connectionless protocol, so it means unreliable transport protocol, UDP. Okay, so it provides process to process communication rather than host to host. Host to host means connection will be established, whereas process to process means it simply sends if it wants to send a simple file transfer, simply it will send from one machine to from source to destination without establishing the connection. Okay, so host to host connection, host to host communication means connection will be established first before transferring the data. Okay, so let's see about the advantages and disadvantages of UDP over TCP. So the main advantage of UDP is it is very fast for short messages. So for sending a short messages, if we use TCP communication protocol, means first it will establish the connection, then it will go for transferring the data. So it will take a longer time, whereas UDP no connection establishment is made. So for sending the short messages, it is quick to use UDP protocol. Hence it is set as lightweight communication protocol rather than heavyweight. So heavyweight protocol is TCP, since connection has to be established in TCP. And one internet application that often runs on UDP is DNS. So DNS is domain name service, which we will be seeing in the next topic, in the next slide. So DNS is one naming service. So that naming service often uses UDP protocol rather than TCP. And the disadvantage of UDP over TCP is, as we discussed in the previous slide, UDP is connection less. Okay, it means if something happens, if in the network, if a packet gets lost, it will be untraced, and there is no flow control. It means the packet will be received in different order. So UDP suffers worst packet loss than the TCP. So since TCP is connection oriented, so there are a lot of congestion control mechanisms are there in TCP, which you will be studying all those things in detail in computer networks. Okay, and let's come to domain name service, and I think we have discussed earlier a little bit about this in our previous topic, internet domain name service. As I said in the previous topic itself, so it's easier for the human to remember www.google.com, but for the computer it's an electronic device, it's a machine, it will understand everything in terms of zeros and ones. So to convert that google.com into machine understandable format, we need an intermediate service called as DNS, domain name service. Okay, so the number we will follow that in the order how the machine how the user request is translated by means of DNS. Okay, so number one is get me the IP address for some URL. Okay, here gohacking.com. Okay, so it won't straight away go to that server. Instead, Go Hacking, the system must know the IP address of Go Hacking. So who will provide the IP address of Go Hacking? So that's of course by the DNS server. Okay, so DNS server, the immediate DNS server will look for the matching of Go Hacking. If it is not available, the server will in turn look up for another DNS servers. There are many DNS servers are around the global network. Okay, so if one of the server finds the right IP address, means it will return that IP address, which in turn will store that IP address for future reference, and the same IP address will be returned back to the request and the communication takes place. Okay, so DNS is nothing but domain name service. The main purpose is used to convert names into IP address and IP address to vice versa name. Okay, so when we speak about the domain name, we have for example www.google.com. so here the top level domain is nothing but .com. Okay, so in a top level domain itself we have two categories, generic. So generic in the sense .com, .org, .net, .edu. Those are the generic top level domains. And country code, of course you will be knowing it. For India the country code is, yeah, you're right, IN, and like JP for Japan, UK for United Kingdom, likewise. Okay, those are the top level domains. Okay, so these top level domains are controlled by Internet Corporation for assign names and numbers. Okay, it's an non-profit organization. They are in charge of providing the top level domains. Okay, so ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Okay, so next in this example www.google.com, so .com is the top level domain, and we have second level domain or subdomains. Okay, Google. Okay, so the whole subdomains and the top level domains fully termed as fully qualified domain names. Okay, so and I think there are some tools available to look up the DNS. Okay, I will take you to a small demo. I will open my terminal, and we can use the tool called as NS lookup. Okay, NS lookup, I am looking for www.google.com. okay, here is the IP address for the google.com. okay, so this NS lookup is a tool that enables the internet DNS. okay, so this is the DNS, so DNS server and its address, and here for this URL, this is the IP address. I am getting it back. okay, so we can use the this tool, NS lookup tool, and here you can follow any website names. okay, yeah. So next we are moving on to discussing about higher level protocols. So some of the higher level protocols are simple mail transfer protocol, which uses the port number 25. As I said, port number is used to provide different applications to the user. okay, so user will have, so once the user computer is connected to the internet, the user has vast wide range of accessing different applications like mail servicing, web browsing, remote telnet, it is for remote login, etc. okay, so SMTP is for accessing the mail service. SMTP protocol is used. okay, its port number is 25. For downloading files, bulk amount of files, we need to go for FTP protocol, whose port number is 21. Telnet for remote login and executing the commands on those remote machines. Telnet protocol is used, which runs on 23 port number, and domain name service DNS is port number 53, and HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. So HTTP means in the web, once TCP IP or UDP IP, it is to establish the communication protocol. That's it. On top of that communication protocol only, different applications are running. So to access for web browsing, there is a protocol called as HTTP. So how web browsing is happening? The user will send a request, okay, by means of the URL, some website name, and that website will be converted into DNS, domain name service, and the request will be sent to the respected IP. okay, so user is sending a request, and which in turn what the user will get, a response from the server if that specified server exists. okay, this communication is happening under the protocol called as HTTP, which runs under the port number 80. okay, so HTTP request and response message will be talking about all those things in the forthcoming topics, okay, in detail. okay, just remember the high level protocols are SMTP, FTP, Telnet, DNS, HTTP, etc. And we can have an analogy of this entire communication protocol by means of telephone network. okay, so our UDP is like sending a message to any user. That's it. We don't bother about whether the user received it or not, whether he is responding back or not, it doesn't matter. UDP is like just sending a message to the destination, whereas TCP is like a telephone connection. Okay, so once the telephone connection gets established, the two user will communicate via their common language and certain protocols. Initially they will start by saying hello and they will start conversing it. Okay, similarly this telephone network connection is like an TCP. Okay, and DNS, so we can link DNS in this telephone network is an user directory. So in the user telephone directory we will be having names and numbers. Similarly DNS is like the name of the website and its respective IP address. And here is a little assessment regarding the topics we have seen so far. I think you could answer it very well without going back and referring the slides. Okay, a set of rules in the internet is what? And I think you could answer it easily. And number 2, it is a number that is used to identify each and every device on the computer network. You could answer it very quickly. An internet protocol used to send email to a remote email server. So what's the protocol used for email service? You could easily answer for that also. And number 4, what do you call the group of 32-bit numbers in a network? And I think 2 and 4 you'll get the same answer. Okay, just think of it and try the answer. Okay, it's quite simple. And these are the basic protocols we have seen so far. And next we will be moving on to World Wide Web. So many of you will think World Wide Web and internet are same. So please correct it yourself. Internet is different from World Wide Web. So IP is the key component for the definition of the internet, whereas HTTP is the key component for the definition of World Wide Web. So World Wide Web is a collection of machines that service the user using HTTP protocol. Okay, the user will send a request and the server will respond it back. This communication happens on top of TCP/IP. Okay, using the HTTP protocol. Okay, so internet is nothing but establishing the connection between the two computers. That's it. Okay, whereas WWW is nothing but sharing the information via HTTP protocol. Okay, so when a machine needs to access an information on the web, as I said earlier, WWW shortly we will be saying as a web. Okay, so when a user wants to send a request, that user we are saying as an web client. Okay, so web client is a machine where the request gets originated, and how the request gets originated by means of a software called as a browser. Okay, by means of a web browser. So only by web browser we can communicate the web using HTTP protocol. So if time permits, you watch the YouTube video regarding web in detail. And these are the technologies that were used earlier from 1970s to till today, how to manage the internet information very effectively. So initially Gopher server is used to manage the internet information by means of a hierarchical order. Hierarchical in the sense like a tree format, top to lower level. Okay, so then next comes the wide area information system. These are all the internet information managing servers. Okay, so wide area information system, it manages the internet information in terms of indexing and retrieving the information. Okay, next comes the archive tool for online searching, and it will send back the result by means of FTP. And today we are in World Wide Web. Okay, so by means of how World Wide Web manages the information means by means of hyperlinks. Okay, if we click a link in the website, it will take us to another page. Okay, so today we are in World Wide Web technology. In earlier for managing the information, Gopher, WAIS, archive tools are used to manage the internet information. As the information grows larger and larger each and every day, so World Wide Web is the best solution which implements hyperlink using by designing the web pages with HTML language. Okay, so HTML allows the hyperlinks which takes easily to other document. And the few features is as I said earlier, the web it communicates by means of HTTP protocol, okay, under port number 80, and it was and the web is designed by means of HTML, okay, which uses hyperlinks to effectively manage the web pages. And in short, we will have a little introduction about the hypertext transfer protocol. So it is a request response message communication protocol, okay. So from the picture itself you could easily get it. So here this is the web client, the user computer. So in the user computer he will be using only via means of browser to communicate, okay. So from the browser we will be sending a request through HTTP protocol, and if the request gets matched, the respective server will respond back to the client, okay. This is how the communication takes place in HTTP protocol. So client server communication, okay, sending request and getting back the response, okay. So by these things will happen via the intermediate browser, okay. The browser will render the response from the server and display it nicely to the user, okay. So apart from this we could also get the information via telnet server, okay. So using the telnet protocol we can get the information, but the rendering will not be in an effective and presentable manner. So take a look at this picture, black picture, which I did in the lab by enabling the telnet server and sending a request, okay. So once after sending a request by means of this protocol telnet, the connection gets established. Once the connection gets established, the client will send a request using the get method and HTTP protocol version 1.1, and the host machine is this site, okay. So once once it identifies the machine, the server will respond back by the HTTP protocol version 1.1, and this is the status, okay. 200 means it is okay, it is good. The status is 200, it means it is okay. The server sends the response message, okay, and 3 dots means it follows the body of the response, okay. We could try that instead of the web browser also, but web browser is very attractive and user friendly rather than going for this command prompt like display using the telnet, okay. So hope you all had a knowledge on basic IP protocols and World Wide Web. So in basic IP protocols we have discussed about key protocols like SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, that is the protocol for mail service, and file transfer protocol for transferring files between the two computer systems. Then we have discussed about domain name service, UDP, TCP, IP, HTTP, different protocols, and also the World Wide Web, okay. So please make a note, World Wide Web is different from the internet, okay. So internet is used to establish a communication using IP protocol, okay. It may be TCP IP or UDP IP. Once the protocol is established, once the communication protocol is established, the user can access different applications using different protocols, okay, using its respective port numbers for accessing the mail, for browsing the data, or downloading the files, or fetching data from the remote systems, okay. Thank you for watching.